Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the transmission mount. It's technically an engine mount slash transmission mount. It's on the driver's side, so it's right in here. So let's go ahead and get started. So first you want to get your air box out of the way, and so to start you need to loosen this screw down in here so you can pull this whole plastic piece off. It's just a Phillips head down here that you need to loosen. So with that loose, you're able to take the top of the air box off, and you can just kind of set it off to the side like that. Pull your air filter out, and there's three 10mm bolts that you're going to need to loosen here, here, and back in here. Okay, something I failed to mention is if you want to put a rag in here, that'd probably be a good idea so you don't get any dirt or bolts or anything into your engine air intake. So to get the rest of the bottom of the air box off, there's all of this connection here. There's a 10mm bolt here that you can loosen. Just make sure you keep that bolt and don't lose it. That way you can pull it out. And then my box is connected to this, just a wiring in here. So you need to loosen that there so that you can disconnect the bundle of wires right here from the bottom of the air box. Okay, so with the bottom of the air box out, you can see where the motor or the transmission mount is right here. I failed to mention this electrical piece is also connected to the bottom of the air box, so make sure you disconnect that as well. So obviously check your new part, make sure it matches up. We're going to be reusing a lot of the, not a lot, but parts of this current motor mount, such as this part here and on the bottom here. So the next thing you're going to need to do is from underneath, you need to remove this plastic piece, this little plastic shield. Where it was right up here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe 5. Yeah, there's 5 different 10mm bolts around it. So there's, sorry, I already took it off. 2 here, there's 1 back here, there's 1 up right here, and then there's 1 back here a little bit, kind of right here, up right there is where it was. So you need to remove this so you can get to all the bolts on the motor mount. Okay, so the next thing you're going to need to do is you need to stabilize and slightly jack up the transmission. And so to do that, you need to get a jack, but the most important thing is that you get a block of wood. See, it's about that big. And you're going to be jacking up basically on the bottom of the transmission pan. So if you don't use a block of wood though, you could very easily dent in the transmission pan or even puncture a hole in it. So make sure, super important, that you use a block of wood. And so up in here, let me get a better position. It may be easiest if you just jack up the whole car as well. There we go, you can see them there. Let me flip it around for you. So these 2 bolts right here are part of the motor mount, and those need to come off. So this one here, they're both 14mm bolts. This one you can reach from the top, but you might be able to get a better angle down here. You can either work from the top or bottom. And then this one here, you can only reach from the bottom. So that's why you had to take that shield off so that you can reach it. So when you're jacking it, I'm going to show you this, because this kind of freaks me out, but it's what you have to do. So you set your jack up, tighten it and everything, and make sure that your jack is out of the way so that you can get up in there with a wrench to take that bolt off. And so you'll see as you jack it, I mean, when that's up tight against it, I mean, it doesn't take much. And even that right there, I can see the engine lifting. So that's really all you need, just a couple of millimeters like that. Okay, so after you have those two bolts off, next you're going to want to take this center bolt off here. So it's a 14 on both sides here, and you're going to obviously need to go in opposite directions to loosen it, so you can take that bolt off next. Okay, so the next thing you need to do are there two 14mm bolts here. I already took one off here. You just kind of got to shove the air box lip there out of the way, or the air intake, I mean. So take these two 14mm bolts off next. So, something I may have failed to mention is on this one here, you actually don't need the two bars. You can just loosen this side here. You're definitely going to want a breaker bar to be able to do it. A small wrench isn't going to give you the leverage. I had to use my torque wrenches usually have a loosening setting, so if you have that, that'll work. That's long enough to give you the torque that you need. So anyways, once you loosen this, I don't know if you can see it, but see how the bolt comes out there, and then this is going to come out. So to get that bolt out though, you're going to need to take your battery out. So most of them are typically just a 10 or 8mm bolt here. Always take the negative off first and then the positive. So with the battery out, and as you tap that out, it may drop the transmission. Absolutely make sure that you have your block set up and everything set up there to catch it if it's too high or too low. And you may have to jack it up and adjust it accordingly. So I had to jack mine up quite a bit. I'm able to get this out, and it may, to be honest, the transmission may move, you know, maybe up to a centimeter, but that's only about 10mm, so, or that is exactly 10mm, but so it really shouldn't move a lot comparative to where everything is. Okay, so once you get this bolt out, you should be able to pull out that mount there, and again compare it to the new one that you've bought. Okay, so as you can see here, obviously the new one, the old one. Again, this is how you can tell that it's bad. I mean, you can see the holes through there. I mean, that's thin rubber comparative to that isn't torn yet, but that tells you that this vibrates a lot more. You can see the sway that it has there, so it shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, it should move. It can move a little. See the same amount of pressure. Yeah, see, it can move a little on the new one. It should be able to move a little bit, but not. Look at how bad that. Look at that. That's terrible, and that's why my engine has been vibrating so bad. Noticed in my other videos, I replaced the passenger side motor mount, and that one was pretty bad too. So usually one motor mount goes, and then they all start to go if one gets bad enough. So I think that one went first, and then caused this one to go bad as well. So we're going to go ahead and install it. The installation is going to be the reverse of how you removed it. Okay, so a couple things. I failed to mention that you actually can get into these two here, and then down here you can reach a ratchet back through here to get to it if you want, to tighten those down. You may have to jack the transmission up for this bolt to go back through. I had to give it a couple pumps so that this bolt could go back through here where it's supposed to, over to here. Now, every single bolt that you took off is torqued back down to 44 foot-pounds. So here, if you're doing any of the other engine mounts, here's all the different torque specifications. So for the driver's side mount, as it says there, it's 44, and that's in foot-pounds. And those are all the other engine mount specifications as well. So anyways, from here, what you're going to do is, of course, put everything back where it goes. Slowly let the jack down, and make sure that your mount holds up, and then put everything back where it goes, the battery and the air box. And so anyways, that is how you replace the engine mount or it's rather the transmission slash engine mount on the driver's side for a 2001 Toyota Corolla. So hopefully this was helpful for you, and thanks for watching.